That's when you're saying that even though Aaron is the avodah of Surmira slash the parallel would be the Shvatim, that's Malchus, that's Iskafia. Moishe Rabbeinu's Torah slash Avis Hisapcha. So why then is Yitzias Mitzrayim through both? And he answered yesterday. And before that, even so first he addressed why the counting on Chodesh Sheini was through Moishe and Aaron. Because now we have both Avedas, Shleimus, the Aved of Sumir and the Aved of Aseitoy. That's B'Chodesh HaSheni, but Yitzias Mitzrayim itself is only the Aved of Iskafia. So why? So we just finished answering why the census on Chodesh HaSheni is through Moishe and Aaron. But then begs the question, why Moishe and Aaron by Yitzias Mitzrayim at the beginning of the Aveda? We're not holding by Yisapcha. What was the answer? That was the question he asked the end of his Dalit and answered. And what did he answer?
Because from the onset, you got to do it in a way that you're going to go past the finish line.
Yeah, okay, anybody else want to add something? This is, we spoke a little bit at length yesterday at the end of the shir about it. That was the final part of the shir. We said it's bad news and good news, as it were, in somewhat jest. No, the burdening news is that what? If you think you're
never satisfied.
If you think your avodah is only iskafia, you're wrong. What else? It has to be what? What was the raya from Tanya? And this is similar. It's not exactly the same as Tanya. Why is that exactly the same? But it's not exactly what he says in Tanya. But what does he say in Tanya? Middle of the last paragraph. Huh?
Worry about the inside, not just to
right.
To do basket.
So he says in Tanya that what's the solution at the end then? What is, I mentioned it yesterday. What's the solution? How is it possible? In Tanya is a little bit different, because how is it possible then to Mekayim the Inyan of the Tzaddik? What is the answer in Tanya? We mentioned yesterday. He's talking there, first of all, as we mentioned yesterday, he is already achieved a level of Beinani. And then Mizman Desman, he gives two solutions, or two ways by which he's Mekayim Tzaddik. Number one is in davening, in times of great inspiration, Moichin the Gadlus, the Beinani can achieve temporarily the Inyan of the Avodah of the Tzaddik, where he's not struggling with the Ra. But this is what he wants, is a Beinani. The second thing we mentioned yesterday was that he could be Kulai impregnated with, as it were, it's called Ibur Neshamas, of the Neshama of a Tzaddik, and thereby, as it were, ride on the Tzaddik's Avodah, whatever that means. But this is a big thing in Tanya. He's not saying the same thing here. What the difference here is, he's saying, Yeshleima shal derech mavur b'Tanya. There he's saying that if you reach the shleimus of Altir, Rosha, Beinani, so he's still not potter from the first half of the oath that the Neshama is made to swear, which is Titzadik. And we just told you there's two ways that could happen. But that's again for the Beinini. What's the chiddush of the Maimer here? This you can all tell me. What's the chiddush? What's the chiddush of the Maimer here? He's going far beyond what he says in Tanya. Even as he's in the Avodah V'Iskafia, there he's talking about don't entertain any illusions about tzaddik till you're a firmly established Beinoni, and then once then you're not exempt from Tehit tzaddik, and here are the two possibilities that may happen, as we just shared them. The Rebbe is saying something else here. It's al derech b'Tanya, but he's saying it even when second line of the paragraph, gentlemen. As you're saying, Shmuel, that in the Avodah V'Tzias Mitzrayim itself, in the Sunnah, it has to be ba'ofen that it will bring not just Yisabcha, but the third level. Yisabcha is still Avodah Seberurim, which we're saying till now, that's not the true Inyan of Yisoid. The true Inyan of Yisoid, back up here, friends, fill in the blanks here so we just get the flow here. What did he establish here in this Maimer? B'chalal, Sfira Sa'im is Avodah Seberurim. What did he say here? So we are backing up and going back even further a little bit. He said earlier that
Ishapcha.
No. But the main condition of this Maimer, which is spelled out in the order we learned yesterday, the three fanim of Chedesh Hasheni of Sfira Sa'im is as follows. That even the Avodah V'Sabcha is Avodah Seberurim. It's the Birer Sheini. So why is that still not, as he calls it, the Iker Inyan of Chedesh Hasheni? Even V'Sabcha. Because since Chedesh Hasheni is Sfira Yisoid, and Sfira Yisoid is what? The foundation of, Yisoid means foundation. So it's a foundation of what? Vatzilus. In Baratzilus it says what? So the Avodah mitzad Atzilus is, it's like the Tzaddik Gomer, it's Bittul B'Mitzias. It's not Isapche. Isapche is still bitter, still engaging in Evesh Bahamis. This is what is the Avodah of Atzilus itself. In Avodah, what's the Avodah, the one holding, as it were, by Elam Atzilus? The Avodah of the Tzaddik, his Avodah is Isapche. He's long gone, long surpassed that. Not dealing with Isapche anymore. Isapche is a mighty struggle to transform the Nefesh Bahamis. No is difficult in Iskafir, maybe more difficult, but he's done that. So now what? What's the Avodah of the Tzaddik? The whole point of the Maim is the Hamshich, the Memte Sharibina, Sharanon, it's all in Kedusha Gufa, Asay Tov. Sur Mirah has two levels. There's Iskafir Surmira, and then there's Ishapche Surmira. It's still part of the Avodah Seberurim. Birer Rishon, Birer Sheini. But he's saying now that the Iker of Chedesh Hasheni, since it is what? It's the Sfira of Yisoid, it's Atzilus, it's higher than the whole struggle. It's pure Likus. And what were we saying yesterday? The whole, like this is the big news of this Maimer, who's the Rebbe is talking to us. What were we saying yesterday? That even though, as he said now in this V'yesh Loimer, not like he says in Tanya, where in Tanya he says after the shleimus of the bitter of the Beinoni, which is a kind of iskafia b'shleimus, it's a certain degree isapcha. So kula haiva ulai, certain moments he's going to reach, he's going to touch the level of the tzaddik. Now he's saying something else at the very beginning of the avodah. Even as we're struggling with Ra and far from a Beinoni, it's got to be in such a way What this means, we have to understand. But that's what he says in such a way that it'll not only hisapcha, not only hisapcha, not only transforming the nefesh habahamis, which is the purview of the tzaddik also, completely, but not only that, even what? The third level, as it were, which is, simple language, pure likus, no struggle anymore, there's nothing to fight. There's no resistance. We finished even the process of refinement, done. It's a gewaltige thing he's saying. He's saying it's al derech hamavur b'tanya. Just like in Tanya, he says that the Beinoni is not exempt from fulfilling the oath to tzaddik, even though the Alter Rebbe said in black and white that the tzaddik is a gift, and 99.99% of people will never be the tzaddik. You're not supposed to be the tzaddik. And we went to all arichas that the special time of the Davish has dafka from the struggle. Still, he says, not news for you. You're still not exempt from trying, and you may experience it, as we said before, in moments of great inspiration or thanks to the tzaddik through his kashus. But that is all what? Again, the Alter Rebbe is speaking to someone who is, finish the sentence. The Alter Rebbe is talking to whom when he said that? Huh? Right. He's already achieved Beinoni. Now, Al Tirosha Yemakayim, you're not exempt from Tzaddik. But till Yemakayim Al Tirosha, what kind of fool are you to thinking, delusion, that you have any shaykhs to the avodah of Tzaddik, if you're not Al Tirosha? Here he's saying, yeah, in the sense of the avodah has to be in such a way that it'll lead to that. You have to know that at the outset, even in the dark struggles. So yesterday we a little bit tried to address that. So what's the big news here? What's the wonderful news? On one hand, I was saying, we're being told now, never mind the skafir, you got lots of work to go to do. From here, it's hapcha, and then asay toiv. I'm just starting, and you're already telling me about it. Burdening. It's a burden, that would seem, but it's not a burden. Why? What were we saying yesterday? On the contrary, it's very, very encouraging news. Because what's he saying? Every year, das wissen Sie. You should know that what? Fill in the blank. Think. Use your own.
You have the ability.
You got this.
Yet, Abish is telling every year, you do not think, please, that you're doomed to struggling with the nefesh habahamis forever. It's not so. And moreover, the avodah of iskafia, since it's all avodas Hashem, it's all the nekudas. We learned in the previous Maamar Tiferes. What do you learn about Tiferes? The Tiferes was the big point, the salient, like catch line of the previous Maamar. That but what's the chiddush of Matan Torah? And there had to be the bittul before. What's the chiddush of Matan Torah? Little chazara here. The chiddush of Matan Torah was that they invested in every yid the kavem tzoi tiferes. And how do you define the kavem tzoi tiferes? That it doesn't have shein bayis chalkus. This was the whole theme for 2 weeks we're talking about. What does it mean, shein bayis chalkus? What's unique about Tiferes? Why are we talking about this here? Because it's kind of similar. The nekuda is avodah. The nekuda is do what Eibishter wants from you. So if that's the nekuda, then all the levels are connected and one will lead to the other one. It's not separate universes, even though b'chitzonis they are. But even the avodah v'iskafia, well, in the end, and it carries the seed in the end, sooner or later, somehow, and even along the ways, in some measure, carries with it the shleimus avodah of ishapcha and asay toiv, because if the whole avodah is this is what you want, and connection to you, and that's what you want, then the Nakud is there, what you want. And what the Eibush then wants is that each should be mamshich, likus, and asay tov, and that's what God wants, and that's our destiny. And if that's what we're dedicated to, His desire for my destiny, so therefore at the very beginning, you're connected to it all. The avodah has to be, he says in a way, but often third line of page Reish Samach Zayin. We have the same page as me here. Shetovi loidak tisabche lagam la'avodah bekad v'asitov shalmaydi bin aburim. In other words, to ask a question, this is so grandiose. Why is this necessary? The avodah has to be in such a way that you should reach the level of isabche, and not even higher than that, the third level of asitov. Why? Humble fellow, I'm happy. Halavai yiskafi, halavai beinini. Why does it have to be like this? What's the answer? Because this is the Rotz and the alien. Because the Eibishter wants us to be, in the end, not only struggling, not only transforming, but in his deepest embrace. What does it mean to Mamshech Kedusha? It means Mamish is Dafkus, Rucha, Berucha, one with the Eibishter. There's nothing in between. There's no barriers to overcome. There's no resistance to be refined. He wants to be one with us. That's the third level. So if that's the foundation, what you want, that's what he's saying. The avodah has to be open, that it should come to the highest levels. Why? I have to be the highest level. Don't have to have the fanciest car, I have to have the highest level. Alavai beinani, alavai yiskafir, and we'd be very satisfied to be a yid. It's mekayim Torah mitzvahs, and peil mamish, and halavai. So, no. The avodah has to be that you reach the highest levels. So you have to become a godel. Is that the objective here? Is this what he's saying here? Chas v'shalom. That if you start out in your beginning in your Yiddishkeit, you should know your kavanah should be a god. Do you remember Aaron's speech? You're smiling, you're remembering it. Aaron's speech at this Kislev, you wrote it up, was published in the. It's a classic. It's a classic. So most of us didn't go through this. Mstakdish yeshivas and come to Meliubavitch, so you don't know this. So you know it peripherally, but he experienced it. That's exactly what it was. Starting on his journey, and the goal is to be a godel. And here we go. Coffee in hand and Gemara in front of me and Rosh Yeshiva. That's what he's saying here. Nachman litzlan. No. So what is he saying? Not be a godel, but what? When he said, just repeat what I just said. So what is being said here? Beginning of the avodah.
That I should be nothing and everything, it should be all about him.
Let's rephrase that in the way we're saying this the last few weeks, months, which is the call of the hour. This is the Deir HaShvi. This is what the Rabbi is saying in one way, and another way, and another way, and another way, another way, trying to get it through our heads. You should know, says the Eibishter, at the beginning of your struggle with your Yitzhar and so on, you should know the whole thing is for one reason. Because I'm going to be one with you. Absolutely. Without anything in between us. Birurim, all done over. In order, what's the point of this Birurim? What's the point of the Iskafia? What's the point of transforming, first breaking that Yitzhar and then transforming that? What? For what? Because at the end, your mamshich elikus. What does that mean? It means that you and I are one. That's what he's saying. And he brings an eye from, they're going to Tanya again, an eye from Tanya, because it's a huge thing, like it's not about you, it is about you, absolutely and completely. That's all I want. What it's not about is you becoming a godel. That's not what it's not about. But it is about you because I want you. And I want to be one with you. And that makes you godel, that makes you godly, not a godel. Makes you everything. This is the message of the Rashvi, friends. We have to hammer into our heads. And especially our children.
Ula Yeshleimer, the chilik between what the Alter Rebbe wants, perhaps, and what the Rebbe wants is the Alter Rebbe wanted the Machshav Dibur Maisa, and the Rebbe wants everything.
Not true. The Alter Rebbe is saying in Tanya that once you've reached the level of Beinoni, then you're obligated to try to whatever degree to reach the level of Tzaddik. It's part of your obligations. That's what he's saying. As part of your obligations, you were told before you came down to the world, Al Tirasha, you Mekayim that, you're Beinoni. They're not exempt from to Tzaddik. But the emphasis in what the Rebbe lays bare in all of the essence of all of it is the Nisave is the Jew, is you.
Not only your behavior, but you.
As we said, we keep let's have to repeat it again. It's to myself. Let's have to hear it also. The 6 generations of Siddur till the Rashvi, which the emphasis is bittul, not about you, not you, who you. That was the catchword. Bittul. This is all the hachana. It's not the tachlis. It's all hachana for the Rashvi. In the same way, I've told you many times the story of a real cinder. Became Meliobאוויטש. He was very involved in the Torah Karta, in the Charedis. He worked for the UN. He was a very talented person. He first translated the Tanya. He was a translator for the UN. He was Niskar V'net Yisrael, and he had tremendous correspondence with the Rebbe and very long yechidus. Told you the story many times. He once said to the Rebbe, this is in the 60s, that it seems to him that the Rebbe has changed the whole changed Lubavitch, the chassid, the whole, the word I'm looking for, the typical, nicer word, the typical, like chassid. That's what I'm looking for. At any rate, so the once
mantra?
Mantra? No, just what the chassid looked like, the tzir of a chassid. The chassid of 6 generations before, what did you imagine? The guy that davens Shabbos B'Avodah hours, and he's mufshit. He's detached from the world. That was the hallmark of the Chabad. The hallmark of the Chabad chassid was, in one English word, transcendence. His boneness, davening, bariches. The Molek Chassid, the Kamam Shabbos after daven with the Minyan Shabbos was it's for Balabatim, it's unheard of. Unheard of. He learned Chassidus for a few hours and davens, this one, 3 hours, 2 hours, 4 hours. It was an embarrassment. It was Bach in Yeshiva, even, I remember. It wasn't that long ago. To do daven Shabbos with the Minyan, finished. Sit down with a kiddush, balabos. They were the simplest bacher. It was you had to get up on time, mikveh, chassidus, and daven. This one daven 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. This one went into somewhere was didn't seem till 4 o'clock. He surfaced. Then a quick meal, and to run to make a Mesilas Shabbos and chazak chassidus in a shul somewhere. If that wasn't a bacher Shabbos, then. Embarrassment. So that's the carryover. That's true. This is that should be today also. I'm not saying no. So he says to the Rebbe, but the new chassid, this is the 60s, 70s. He's engaged and very savvy, and he's engaged in the world. It's kind of going this way, not that way, not transcendence. It's taking Lubavitch in a new direction. The whole outreach and the whole. And then the Pel Mamish can the Chassid daven Shabbos ba'avodas got guests? Is the daven with the minyan? Was the last time I davened? I can't even remember. Actually, I do remember. It was in Shabbat, the early days. Didn't necessarily have guests. It's an interesting story because there's Hashgacha Pratis. The whole story of a mother called me, her child is going the next day to India to Kulu, which she ended up going. So this day before she's going Sunday. So, okay, so Shabbos come. So we made up, she's going to come to a meet in Shul, and then we would go to the house. So in those days, well, that particular Shabbos didn't have guest Shabbos day, whatever it was. So this was the tzir. So everybody emptied out. So I'm davening in the shul, and she's meditating in the women's section. It was perfect for her. She was a meditator. She was into it. So after an hour and a half, we spent the whole Shabbos. Came to the table, and we spoke till Shabbos, and that led to meeting her friends and so on. In the end, there were, Baruch Hashem, a number of them we were able to connect to over the years. I've told you some of the crazy stories that happened with them. But I'm just saying, so but the average shliach, and even doesn't that luxury daven b'avoda is the kiddush, and then you have guests. So he's taking the chassid the whole other way. It's engagement. So he's saying to Rebbe, it's a Meliubavitch. So the Rebbe said to him this, that after the whole 6 generations of being megala, that world itself is not a mitzias, bittul. Now we're ready to use it and as a vehicle to reveal godliness. Now his hapcha, and the third level, not just his hapcha, but a likus revealed in the world. We've broken this is like the Bir Hamidis. For 6 generations, it was breaking, iskafi. Isap, what you said, Isap is tremendous work, even harder. Do we know? Change a midah. Change a midah is much more difficult than just control yourself. Change the way you feel. You don't even know what this means. It's much harder work. Change your visceral, emotional response to things. That was 6 generations. And kind of in the big picture, it was done. We're riding on that. It's invested in us. We're all the neshamas are connected. So our generation is mamish, is elikus, pure godliness in the world. Science, everything revealing godliness, is no resistance anymore. There's layers and layers, everything you said that we're talking about now. So therefore, the avodah today is not your nothing. It's your everything. What's the nothing? The nothing part is, taka is a creation, taka nothing. Bottle is nothing, I'm v'efes. But the Eibishter wants you, and wants to be part of your life that makes you everything. Nothing mitzad the inherent value, everything because God wants you and desires you. That's talking about your guf. Now your neshama is a chelek l'kamim al mamish, that's everything. You always were everything. So are we clear on why, I'm offering this explanation, why this is only al haderech mavur b'Tanya? We clear? In summary, because in Tanya he's saying, Ti tzaddik, which is pure kedusha, applies to who? He's holding by Bein, and he's skafi, and here the chiddush is betchilas avodah. Tchilas avodah, you have to know, you should know, this whole thing is because the Eibishter wants to be one with you in the deepest way, and that changes the whole avodah, the nature, even of the iskafia is a different iskafia. Lifts, we said yesterday, that was extending the hand here. Hold on, and you'll see, feel, you'll know this emes that we're saying in the Maimah here. You think you're nobody or nothing, you're everything. Everything. Next couple of lines, ois hey. Now, so the same way that he said, now comes a whole new beautiful thing coming out. We just said now at the beginning of the Avodah of Iskafia, as we're struggling with the most elementary Yetzer Hara desires and weaknesses, you have to know that the whole thing is, in the end, you are the Eibishter one, Elikus, godliness. No barriers, yeah? Beginning. Likewise, the other way. What's the other way? That holding by this level already. Let's see inside. A Yid is holding in the Avodah of Chedesh Ir. Now, Chedesh Ir comes whether you like it or not. So there's to it. The Avodah of Ishapche, transforming the way the person's emotions, friends. You said it, right? The one who completes that is the tzaddik. Well, the Ma'ale Yosef and the third level, Avodah de Merkava, this is the Merkava, the Avodah Vatzilus, Bittul B'Mitzius, just Elikus, yeah? So the highest levels of unity, made a different thing here. Tzarechli is Roishem, it has to be, a Roishem means literally means a trace, but it means an element of me'achayis v'yispailos shalaveda diskafia. In that incredible unity, it's not like we've moved on from the struggle of iskafia, but the highest that required tremendous energy, the iskafia, and tremendous ispailos. Ispailos means ispailos. Yeah, I don't know how exciting is iskafia.
Excitement.
How exciting is iskafia? Since when is iskafia exciting? Doesn't mean exciting in that way. It means the gewalt. There's the gewalt. On the contrary, it's almost ensnared by the skin of your teeth. You're not falling to the trap of the Yetzer Hara. That's the spilus, like a person drowning is thrashing in the water. So he's saying that this has to be carried even in the highest levels of communion and oneness of Asay Tov. The Maila of the Gewalt. You have to understand what that means. The Gewalt of Iskafia is, I'm almost falling in and he's just barely running, escaping. What could be the Ispilus? Tell me, friends, what could be the Ispilus and he's holding by the third level of Asay Tov? What's the Gewalt there? That third level is he's gone beyond Iskafia. He is not struggling. He's even transformed the Nefesh Haba'amis as a willing participant in the relationship. He's refined his animal soul. Where's the room for Ispilus and Gewalt? Huh? What do you think?
That I've done that I'm holding there.
Yeah, in the sense of not taking for granted this it's a gift. That this is a gift. That Hashem is has allowed this, has empowered me, has brought me to this oneness with Him. He never takes that oneness, even though he's not struggling there. Never takes that for granted. That's the knock on the door, friends. Before you go into the story you read the other day, the Shalom Be'aychon, the Bacher was noted with his spilus. Every time Rebbe went into the Frierdiker Rebbe, it was like he's never gone in before the first time. You know, how many times a day he went in, I don't know, but every time that's the spilus, that's the Gewalt. There's no struggle here. It's the deepest levels of Achdus, these Kashus, but never lose sight of it's little me. It's little me that's here. And that you want me. And it's all you want. And that in getting to where I am is all thanks to your avodah, your bracha. That's the Yitaka b'Shofar Gadol, the sound, the shofar will sound by itself. The Jew doesn't even claim title to the avodah. It happened. We learned that Maimer. That's the spilus. That's the Gewalt. In a marriage, it means friends. Everything has to translate in Avodah, and everything is it never takes for granted this unity. It's my wife, I earned it, I paid for it. I paid for it. Bought her a nice gift, put bread on the table, I'm a good husband. I earned the rights of a husband. Absolutely not. I gotta do all these things, but at the end of the day, it's a gewalt. What a gewalt. He's amazed and in awe every moment of this gift. Wife and children and everything that he has. It's not I don't own her, it's not my wife, it's not my children, it's a gewaltige matan. That I can even provide for them. That's the matan, all the things that I'm doing and I need to do. That itself is a matan. This is the gewalt he's talking about. Now, friends, if you don't think this over, you have to use my language and my imagery. You use your own. If you don't think, oh, it's good, so while we're sitting here, it's good, and then. So the Ikir of Chassidus we learned yesterday, the story. We ran out of time for the next story. But remember the story yesterday that Radatz was upset that they fixed all the mistakes because where's going to be the heart of Anya? Too easy. You learned it next. Turn the page. The heart of it. What's the heart of it? The heart of it is thinking it over. What did we learn today? What does it mean in my language? And then suddenly we remember it. The whole point is we start to, each one on their level, live with it, which is the objective. Okay, friends, have a wonderful day.